Well, here we are. The two musketeers have become three. Our esteemed colleague, Jim White, has joined us here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Jim, hello.
Gareth, hello. I can see you were expecting me with two microphones and a third person turns up and it completely spooks you. But I'm delighted to be with you. Good to be with you, boys.
But it was so sudden. Please tell us the story.
Well, the story of the phone call the other day. We were on air, Gareth, and as you know, at the end of a 3-hour show, you're in the last part of the show and you're thinking about getting off air. I'm thinking about getting as far away from Simon as I can. And all of a sudden, producer Luke, who's an immensely talented individual, indicates to me, phone call, I'm putting him through. I looked at him and said, who are you putting through? And Danny Murphy and Simon were engaged in conversation. And he said, the top man in Saudi boxing, Turkey.
So you had no indication that Turkey Al-Sheikh, His Excellency, was going to call?
I had no indication it was going to be him. And I thought, well, he can't be on to give us a dressing down, can he? You're not calling in to give us a dressing down. He must be calling in to maybe make peace, offer something, olive branch, a chat. And that's exactly what we had. You heard the rest. He invited myself and Simon over for 5 versus 5, which is happening here in Riyadh this very weekend. Simon is in the US, and I thought, no, I'll do it. I'll come. And of course, here I am, and it's very impressive from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, we had that, our boxing edit had got that message saying that Turkey wanted to come on the show and have the chat. We didn't know the way it was going to go. I mean, it was so captivating listening to that. Like, everyone was getting so drawn into it, and it spread like wildfire what was going on and everything else. But the interview itself, I thought, was brilliant, Jim.
Yeah, talk to us about, talk to us about how impressed or how you felt about how he was presenting things, that he's a fan of your show, all of that kind of stuff.
Well, I was delighted that he's a fan of the show, Gareth. Clearly, when anybody says that, no matter who it is, once you go over the surprise and shock that anyone can be a fan of the show. No, I'm joking. And I was thrilled. And he was absolutely delightful. And it was like, if there was a hatchet to be buried, let's bury it. It was that kind of mood. And I've said to Spencer on a few occasions, sat back afterwards and I thought, well, that doesn't happen every day. And it was seismic. It truly was. A lot of people spoke to me after it, about it. And it's one of those moments that you don't let it pass you by. You act upon it. I've had it in football many times. Somebody falls out with you. What happens? You either don't talk forevermore, you fall back in. I always attempt to fall back in. On this occasion, the falling back in was instigated by somebody else.
The key, Spencer, as Jim's saying, is talkSPORT'S a massive platform for boxing. Huge boxing's going on over here, and we want to be involved.
Absolutely, and I think that it needed to happen. That conversation needed to happen. We needed to clear the air, which is the right thing. I mean, I've got to ask you, Jim, because you arrived pretty quickly. I was in the car with Ed and Pat. We were listening to the interview, and then you seem to have arrived. Did you leave the studio and go straight to the airport?
No.
Or did you pack a case?
It does seem very quick, Spencer. You're right. No, we had a chat about it back at base, and the thought process was go. There was such positivity after that. The mood was really positive, Gareth. And we thought, well, let's act upon it. And I mean, look, various things may have been taken out of context. There had been a bit of pushback from this end to one or two things my esteemed colleague may have said. But it's all about opinion. And Simon says what he means, and he means what he says. And what is going on here is special and is unique. And it's happening right now. And yes, it's good to be a part of it. Yeah. So let's re-enter that arena and be part of it. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Big time boxing is happening over here at the moment. I think it's the 5th or 6th time I've been here now. Obviously, it goes back to 2019. I think we're experiencing a paradigm shift in the sport. It's clear from what His Excellency and the Saudi Arabian government and all the fighters who are coming here and the promoters, they're very happy about coming here.
Of course they are. I mean, look how it's evolved. You mentioned 2019 when you got Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz 2 was the first fight here. You come here and you go, right, let's have a look at it, let's see what's going on. You know, and you looked at it and you go, right, they're quite a way off where they need to be really for this big time boxing. Look at what's going on now when you go down to Boulevard City. Jim, you're going to see that tonight. You go in there and it's absolutely insane. It blow away, you know, the production of what they're doing now has made it feel really, really big time. All the boxers want to be a part of that. It's all about opportunity for these boxers. You know, they're waiting for that. And I think that spurs them on even more. You know, we've got this 5v5 thing going on right now. And trust me, that team event type thing, forget the promoters and their egos and how much they want to win with all the rivalries and whatnot. The fighters themselves will feel like they're representing their countries when they were amateurs, where you want everyone to win that. And it just pushes you on that little bit more. And I've got a sense of that down there with what's going on there. The format is insane. And I think that, you know, that's a credit to everybody involved on this show.
Do we want to have our shows here in September? October, December?
Well, I mean, it's looking that way, Gareth. One thing I would say, just listening to Spencer there, Gareth, I think this is important. Of course, the financial incentive is huge. Let's not beat about the bush.
Yeah, sure.
They pay here like no one else pays. The fighters, the promoters, etc., etc. But that aside, and you touched upon it, and you're right, Spencer, the organisation of it, Gareth, is second to none. What I'm about to see at the weigh-in, I've been assured, will be special in itself. I walk into the hotel that I checked into when I arrived here, and this morning when I had breakfast, Frank Warren's sitting there. There's a group of boxing parties sitting over there. I go through to the reception. Malik Scott, trainer, as you know, of course, coach of Deontay Wilder, says, "Hi, come and join us." So they've done it. The Saudis, for the time being, have made this their own.
Yeah.
And they've done well with it.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.